Hi, Lee Farnell here, and welcome to Leading Your Best Life. Now, in this podcast, it's a pretty important podcast because it is about something that if you're in business, if you're living, if you want to lead your best life, you actually have to know who to do business with, who to spend time with or not. We're going to talk about money, bullshit. You've probably heard the saying, money talks and bullshit walks. What does it actually mean, and how does that apply to you? How does it apply to me? What are some of the lessons to help you not waste your time on bullshitters? Stay tuned. Welcome back. This comes about because over the last couple of months, really, we had a marketing campaign going via LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, we were prospecting various CEOs to say, listen, if you've got a sales team, here is some free information, and here is how we can help you if you're committed or interested in your sales team performing as an A-grade sales team, not a B or C or D or E or Z-grade sales team. And this particular person contacted me and said, let's talk. We started talking, and then all of this talk was coming down the line. Now, the fact is this person was from overseas, I won't say which country, and they were talking big numbers, and they were talking all of this information. I'm going, well, my radar's going off here, because if this person is actually who they say they are, then why would they be spending all this time on me? And by the way, who's prospecting who here? And a lot of weird information was coming down WhatsApp and conversations, and again, am I too amiable? Am I too believing? Am I too gullible? Because there is a saying that says, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And if your intuition is telling you, if your radar's going off, if your gut instinct is saying this just doesn't seem right, but look, I'll give the person the benefit of the doubt, I'll go along with it. But of course, these types of people play on your good character. And so I'm being Mr. Nice Guy, and it goes back and forward, and you know, it was just confusing. And of course, again, if the confused mind always says no, and the confused mind is like, why is it confusing? But I rang a mate of mine today about this because a couple of things happened. One, besides checking out this person's website and the credentials on it, I finally rang someone who was a mutual connection on LinkedIn. This is very important. Commercial due process. Follow commercial good practice. Because when there's a lot of blue sky being spoken, when there's a lot of confusion and how do you get certainty? Well, one is check the credibility. Go back and do a background check. I know my mate David Osborne, when it comes to recruiting, go back and talk to 3 or 4 or 5 people that this person's worked with and ask them quite serious questions. Not the least of which, would you hire this person again? Would you do business with this person again? So I literally did that. I rang this person, had a conversation. As it works out, this person actually knew me, was a mutual connection on LinkedIn. We actually knew a whole range of different people, and he had met me in the past, so we'd known each other for, as it works out, for 20 odd years. And so I had an honest, straight conversation, as distinct from a not straight conversation. And the person, I said, eventually asked him, have you actually ever made money with this person? His answer was no. Well, I said, there it is. Because money talks, bullshit walks. Which made me, I'd barely ever used that term before. As it worked out, I did use it in or the other person brought it up in the conversation, the person from overseas brought it up. Because eventually I said, okay, let's stop talking about 20 different projects. Let's stop talking about, me being a board member or shareholder or this or that. Let's actually start with one simple project where money changes hands, where we prove that we can actually work together. Because the bottom line is, if you're going to get in bed with someone in business, you might want to start with a small project before you decide, let's spend the rest of our lives together. And of course, the optimistic, creative mind loves to imagine the fantastic happy ending Disney movie, everyone lives happy ever after, everyone's making money. But no, it starts with a small step. How do you build trust? It starts with small steps, not the least of which, does the person ring you back at the time they say they're going to ring you back? More to the point, at some point, money has to be put down. You have to actually check how committed are the people. And strangely enough, in business, if they're willing to put money down versus not willing to put money down, that is a sign of commitment. You've got to actually test it. As I realised, and I said to my mate this morning, you can't eat blue sky. I was talking to an old mate of mine who's a very successful commercial lawyer, and we were talking about this, about, not every client is equal. And not every person you deal with is equal in terms of the time you spend. He said, when we're talking with junior lawyers and they're spending all this time with a client, and they're going, the guy's got this problem, he's got this problem, and this is what's possibly going to happen, and this is how much money we could make from it, and this is it. And he's going, mate, how much time have you spent with this person? Have they put any money up? No, they can't put money up because A, B, C, D. It's like, mate, you've got all these other clients who will put money up, who will take the same amount of time, maybe even less time, and you'll actually get money versus spending a lot of time. And I said, the funny thing is, it's not just about the time you spend with the person, it's the head space they take up. The head space, you've only got a certain amount of head space. And as I had said to this person from overseas, mate, the first 15% of any project will tell you, it's a well-known principle, the first 15% of any project will predict how well the next 85% of the project will go. So if there's grief and problems at the front end, you can be certain there's going to be grief and problems at the back end. So what I did as a result of this, in one of my meditations, it became clear, well, make a list of what are the criteria for clients you want to work with. As Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. Visualize, manifest the types of clients you want to work with. So in my case, it was everything from, well, first of all, they're 100% committed to learning and growing and changing. They're clear on the results and the measurable outcomes they want. We have a clear scope of the project. So we've set up outcomes, we've set up terms, we've set up timelines, we've agreed on fees and budget. We talked about maybe a performance-based upside arrangement, but that's all written down. There's clarity. We talk about SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, relevant, with timeframes. If you can't get a SMART scope with a client, if they're not clear enough and you can't get the scope, the agreed outcomes, and how committed they are to those outcomes, and are they willing to actually put money down to achieve those outcomes, then stop taking up your precious time. These days, what am I? I'm 66 years of age. Let's assume I've got, if I want to, work for another 10 years maybe, but every year, every minute is precious, no matter what age you are, let alone, you could be having more fun, making more money with someone with less grief. Now, I said, ideally you start small to prove the trust that you can work with the person before you go big. Don't start talking big with people before you can go, yeah, we can talk big, but let's actually start small. What do they call it? Act local, think global. You want a client that will take responsibility, that isn't full of story, isn't full of excuses, isn't full of blame. Because you can be certain if they're full of story, excuses and blame, one, they're not going to take responsibility and be committed to get the results, and then they'll blame you. So also you want clients that have delivered on what we call micro promises, micro commitments, micro projects, so that you've proven they can build trust. And to go, are they true to their word? Are they true to their word? Super important. You might want to check with other people, are they true with their word? Which comes to the next point, do some due diligence. Due diligence from a known or trusted source that these people are okay to work with. Check mutual connections on LinkedIn. That's a pretty good starting point. Check testimonials. Where are the testimonials? Where's the social proof that says these people deliver and are good to work with? And then, of course, do they see value in your services? And do they see value in getting you involved in their business? And what you actually want in the sales process is to get them to articulate and sell you on why they should engage you versus you selling them. And there's a whole range. I've got another one here, the skin in the game clause. My lawyer mates, of course, do not start until there's a signed agreement. In fact, one of my other consulting friends said the other day, if there's no signed agreement and no deposit in my account, we do not start work. How committed are you? Is there skin in the game? Oh no, they're nice people. I'll start work. They haven't signed anything, but I'll start work, and then they've agreed that they'll pay me in 30 days from now. What the hell? There's no skin in the game. There's no commitment. You're at all the risk. It goes on and on. And of course, the other one is they are not bullshitters. They're not all talk and no action. They're not all blue sky, constantly with delaying tactics, excuses tactics, won't put the money down, won't put a retainer or trust fund money down. Get the skin in the game. Money talks and bullshit walks. Your time is too precious. And it goes on. I've written about, 7 or 8 or 10 other criteria to actually, for you, and I said to my recruiting mate, David, you should be clear on the types of clients you want to deal with. I know my good mate Darren Bracewell is a superstar at this, being super clear on the criteria of who he invests with, who he does business with, or doesn't do business with. If they don't fit the criteria, stop wasting time. He's ruthless, very steely. Of course, this is the problem with the creative thinker, or even the extrovert or the trusting person. The blue sky, the bullshitter, picks their mark. They go, mate, this guy's falling for my bullshit. Oh God, I'll tell more. I'll reel them in like a big fish, and then sooner or later, I'll get a whole lot out of them, financially or time-wise or whatever. I won't go into what this person wanted from me, but it got to the point. Hang on. I'm not going to fall for that one. We haven't even done a micro project, and we're talking about a whole range of other things that are going to make me look bad if this doesn't work. No, risk mitigation. So what does this mean? What does this mean for you if you're going to actually lead your best life, particularly if you're in business? You've got to know where to put your time. You've got to know who to do business with. You've got to know how to sort the wheat from the chaff, sort the bullshit from the no bullshit. And certainly micro commitments and money down on the table is a very good start, because, as I say, you cannot eat blue sky. Story, excuses. What's your gut telling you? What's your gut telling you? Do the due process and make sure you're working with A-grade players, not Z-grade players. Time and life is too precious. Your value and your expertise is too precious. I hope this helps. It certainly has helped me. It's a lesson I've got clarified again in this week of get more steely, get more systematic about who you do business with, because then you will manifest those people and you'll make better decisions, better projects, more money, and have more fun in business and with the rest of your life. Listen, you want help with any of this, touch base with us. I can show you some of the tools that we're using to help get clear, to generate, qualify, generate great clients, generate great leads, and you have a great life. Share this with friends. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode. I'm Lee Farnell.